Welcome to the Ask Coach Mac podcast, where coaches from around the world get their strength and conditioning questions answered.
What's up, guys? Ron McKeefery here, and welcome to episode number 21 of Ask Coach Mac. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a great question from Curtis. Before we get to that, I want to thank today's sponsor, Iron Grip. Iron Grip is the largest provider of commercial free weight equipment worldwide and the only manufacturer with a line of exclusively American-made free weight equipment. Their equipment can be found in premier fitness facilities in over 60 countries, including 3 facilities that I've put together. They are the industry leader and my go-to choice for bars, plates, and dumbbells. For more information, go to irongrip.com, follow them on Twitter, or call my buddy Chris DeSanto at 509-230-3124. All right, here's today's question from Curtis.
Hey, Coach Mac. I'm Curtis Johnson. I'm a relief pitcher and intern at West Virginia State University. I was wondering what your take on training relief pitchers in season would be because of their erratic and unpredictable schedule.
Curtis, thanks for asking this question, and I really appreciate these types of questions. I love getting into the training aspect of this. And so when you train relief pitchers, I do have a little bit of experience with this. I worked with the Kansas City Royals, and probably the experience that I relate most to this particular question is my military experience with working with Army Special Forces. You know, when I worked with Special Ops, you know, you had to make sure that your athletes, your soldiers, were in a constant state of readiness. I mean, you did not know when they were going out, where they were going, what they were going to do, what the challenges were. Nobody knew, and so they had to be ready for anything. They couldn't be blown out physically. They couldn't be blown out mentally. You had to kind of keep them in that constant state of readiness. And so I think the first thing to do when dealing with athletes like that or soldiers or whatever is taking a total body approach. You can use a tier system or a brick system like with Joe Ken, where you're going to do a upper total lower and rotate through that and have, you know, kind of a max effort and a dynamic effort and some sub-maximal efforts. And, you know, obviously, you know, in season, long season with baseball, long season with like sport like basketball or something like that, you would have to really watch what you're doing with the max effort and the dynamic effort. But that's an approach you could take. You could also take an approach like Dan John, where you're going to do a push, a pull, a squat, a hinge, and a carry, and some version of each of those each day. Whatever it's going to take to kind of keep your body in a constant state of fitness throughout the entire season, and being able to stretch that volume out over the course of the entire in-season program, as opposed to dialing it into maybe 3 days a week or 2 days a week each and every week. You know, one of my former interns is the head strength coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you know, he does daily training and making sure he's got some daily volume each and every day. And the workouts may be 15-20 minutes, but 15 to 20 minutes every day will equal the same amount of volume as if you were to go 3 hours a week or 2 hours a week. You know, and so I think I would encourage you, if you're going to take that approach, to make sure you're scheduling something out each day at a certain time where the athletes, it ultimately becomes part of their schedule. It's what they do. It doesn't always have to be lifting. I think throwing in recovery, regeneration in there as well, stressing the importance of that, having them understand the different types of stress. You know, traveling's a stress, playing's a stress, weightlifting's a stress, cardio and conditioning's a stress. You know, understanding all those different things and spreading that out and working in those recovery and regenerations in, it becomes part of their schedule, and they just get used to it. I think that's an important step when dealing with relief pitchers. I think another approach you can take, if you want to do a little bit more advanced training, you got a relief pitcher that you want to develop a little bit more, is training after the game, post-game training. We would do this a lot in baseball as well, because you at least then you know if they've gone in or not. You have more time. You have a night's sleep in there. You have multiple meals in there. And those types of things I think ultimately help. And if you do it especially on the end of a stretch, then that you have a little bit more time as well with travel and things like that to recover. And so you can do more of a traditional type of approach. I think the other thing that's really important with this, Curtis, is that you have to talk about the mental aspect of training during the off season in those daily sessions. When you're seeing them every day, you're talking to them about the different stresses. You need to also be talking to them about the importance of that off season and how when you eliminate travel and you eliminate games and some of the other things that are associated with the season, now's your opportunity in that off season to really focus on your development and to create a bigger engine and to create a more robust structure. And and if you're doing that daily for the course of 50, 100 games or 150 games or whatever it may be, then when that time arrives in the off season, I think you have a better chance of success with it, getting them to buy into your program. And so I think, just to recap, I think taking a total body approach, finding a system that's applicable to you, spreading that volume out over time as opposed to condensing it down. If you do decide to condense it down, using some post-game training. And then lastly, I think the mental approach and really discussing with them the importance in the offseason, I think, are the critical factors when dealing with a relief pitcher. So, Curtis, I hope that answers your question. We'd love to hear what everyone else thinks. Use the hashtag AskCoachMac21. Continue the discussion over on Twitter. Thanks for your question. I want to encourage everyone else that if you have a question that you would like to potentially be featured on the show, head over to AskCoachMac.com. There you can submit your question by hitting the record button at the bottom of the page. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. Here's a quote to finish off the day by Jackie Robinson. Life is not a spectator sport. What a great quote. Take care, guys. I will see you in the next episode of Ask Coach Mac. Bye for now.